Hey guys, today we are going to be working with some more shapes, specifically today triangles and more proportions, solving for missing stuff again. So here's kind of the deal. If a line is parallel to one side of a triangle and intersects the other two sides, so like this green guy here, parallel to the bottom here, intersects the other two sides, then the triangle formed is similar to the original triangle. So what that means is this new triangle that we made up here, I'm going to trace it in red now. It's saying that this red guy is similar to our original big blue one, right? So if I were to take this guy and just pull him off, this new red guy, and then come back to, now I'm going to retrace. So it's saying that my little red triangle that I made up here is proportional to this guy. And we saw some proportional shapes last time. So that's cool. And then the second thing is the line separates the sides into segments, right? So we have some segments. I'm going to come back here and we'll redo this in red. So this red segment here, it makes some segments, and then we have a blue segment and a blue segment. And so it separates these segments into segments of proportional length, right? So these segments are proportional, right? So that's cool. What that means then is if I'm missing pieces or parts of a triangle, then I can solve for the missing parts by just setting up a proportion. Again, there's lots of different ways that you can set up proportions, but on these particular problems, the way I'm going to do this one is I'm just going to set up a proportion almost like how it looks already, right? Remember, when you set up a proportion, you just have to be consistent. And of course, I am looking for x, so I do want x involved. I see I've got four things to work with here, and so a proportion that has a fraction equal to a fraction would be looking for four things. So this one is perfect. This one's super easy, and here's how we're going to do it. We're just going to take the top part, 9, and put it over the bottom part, 12, on the left side. And then we can jump over to the right side, and we can say that the top part, 6, goes over the bottom part, x. So 9 over 12 is equal or proportional to 6 over x. And then cross multiply, solve, easy cheesy, right? So that's one way to set up the proportion. I like that because it almost looks like the fraction already. 9 over 12 equals 6 over x. And what we're doing is we're being consistent. We've got top left over bottom left. So over here we have to do top right over bottom right. Now I said there's a few ways to set up the proportion, and so I want to show you another way that you could set that up. Another way you could do this is you could do top over top equals bottom over bottom, right? So I could set up 9 over 6, top over top, equals bottom over bottom, 12 over x. Now, how do I know that that works? And that's the same thing. Well, remember when we solve these, we cross multiply. And so when I cross multiply to solve this, I'm going to get 9 times x is 9x, right? And 12 times 6. But notice when I do this, I'm getting the same thing. I'm still multiplying 9 and x together, and I'm going to be multiplying 6 and 12 together, just like over here. And so that works out, right? And so, again, you just have to be consistent. Where's our consistency here? Well, left top, right top. So my consistency is I have to start with left again. Since left was on top here, left has to be on top here, right? 9 on top and 12 on top. 6x. Right? You just have to be consistent. Right? Let's cross multiply, solve this baby, and get you to work. So here we go. We got x times 9, 9 times x, 9x. 12 times 6, 72. Final step, divide, trying to get x by itself. So divide by 9, that leaves x by itself. If you do it to one side, do it to the other, and get x by itself equals 9 goes into 72, nice, 8. Final answer, this side is 8, right? I go on to solve for other things. I want to show you one more thing. Sometimes you'll be looking for this bottom right here. We'll call that maybe y. And so we can still use proportional parts, but in this case, what you might want to do is do big triangle versus little triangle. In this case, I would need to tell you, we'll make this maybe, should we say 7, something like that, right? So I need to tell you this so that it can match up with the bottom. And so I could do something like little triangle, right? And I'm gonna pull that little triangle apart so that I can show you and remember, and I'm gonna be dealing with big triangle, right? So for sure, I'm going to match up 7 and Y, right? Bottom of the big and bottom of the little. So bottom of the big over bottom of the little. And then I need one more thing. I got to find one more thing to match up. Okay? And so let me grab one of these other sides of the little to use. Remember, 7 came from the little, so when I grab one of these other sides, I'm going to also use the little. Maybe let's say I grab this left side 9. So now, since I got the left side of the little, I need left side of the big. Now, here's the mistake most people make. They'll grab the 9 here, and then they'll grab the 12 for the big, right? The 12 to kind of match up with the Y part from the big triangle. But that's not the case. This Y is the whole bottom piece, but this 12 is not the whole side piece, right? So in this case, again, I have the whole bottom of the big. And then I have the whole bottom of the small. If I'm going to take the whole side of the little, then I need the whole side of the big. I actually have to add the 12 and the 9 together to get that whole side, right? Once I have the whole side, then I can use it, right? This whole side 21 matches up with this whole side 9. Now I can cross multiply and solve, right? So be careful. There are a few problems where you have to solve or use the bottom of the big triangle or the bottom of the little triangle. And so remember, when you're doing that, it's like really like the problems we were doing last time. You got to think of 2 separate triangles, right? And you can solve the proportion using 2 separate triangles, the little triangle and the big triangle, right? If you're asked to find one of these parts on the sides, then that's easy. You're just using parts, just top part over bottom part, top part over bottom part. Easy, way to go. So, okay, you got a few problems to do. Good luck with those, and if you have any questions, let me know.